And we are the Other People Show. It's funny that we'll kind of segue into a little topic here, but a lot of the places that actually both you and I have lived, other than maybe snow, they don't really have that many natural disasters occur. If you think about it,
Wait,
maybe.
I lost that when my headphones cut out. What was it?
Oh, I said in a lot of the places that you and I have lived, they don't have a lot of natural disasters there like they do at a lot of other places. I mean, I guess there's some
Yeah.
flooding maybe, or you know, I don't know. Have you lived in a place where there's
The only natural disasters that I've ever lived through was we had a derecho. Do you know what that is?
no?
It's like a massive windstorm. It's kind of like a hurricane, but it
Yeah,
comes up really fast. You don't know it's coming. And typically it doesn't have a lot of it's just a giant windstorm.
right.
We had one of those and it blew like so many trees over. I mean, winds were probably like 80, 90 miles an hour.
Uh-huh.
Electricity was out for a week.
Wow.
It was just like being in a hurricane,
Was
which
it what, in Culpeper?
no, that was in Lynchburg. It was
Okay.
right after Alex and I got married. A lot of stuff went down, a lot of trees went down, like it just tore stuff up. But it wasn't a tornado because it
Right.
wasn't like with a storm. It was just like this massive windstorm. It was weird.
Did you all have to go in like hide or do anything like that, or just stay indoors?
We had a basement apartment, so I was at a bachelor party actually, and then we were supposed to go hiking and camping, and I'm not a camper, so I was kind of like not do all about that. But we were at the bowling alley, and then this thing started, and I was like, I gotta go home because this is not good. But we had a basement apartment that was kind of set up like a trailer. It was like very skinny and long, and it
Yeah.
only had windows in the front. So
Okay.
in the back where we were, it was no big
Yeah.
deal. But besides that, I mean, the rare tornado that comes through, rare,
Yeah.
but never really close to us. But no, I
Well,
would
see,
say up here we're probably closer to tornado area because it's so flat. But
that's what I was thinking. I was watching some tornado videos yesterday, and we're not in a natural disaster with the pandemic, but it is kind of a disaster, and it's a mental disaster if nothing else, and a
mm-hmm.
financial disaster. And of course, all the people that's had it and been affected. But there's been, I was thinking, what would be the worst kind of natural disasters? Because you've got tornadoes, floods, earthquakes, pandemics, tsunami, famine. That's a big natural
Mm-hmm.
disaster in a lot of the world. Volcanoes, heat wave, and like ice ages, I guess would be some of the worst natural disasters. I looked those up earlier, by the way. I wasn't,
Just off the top of your head.
yeah, off the top of my head. So what would you think is the worst natural disaster?
I would say something like I mean, they're all terrible.
Yeah, they're all
It's like, what's
terrible.
the worst evil? I don't know. I would say an earthquake, the tsunami,
Yeah.
or like a tornado, because you just don't. The problem with the earthquakes is that you have no idea when they're going to happen.
Have
Have
you
you
been
ever
in
got
one?
one time?
I have one time.
One time it was so weird. But like you have no idea it's going to happen, and then it just happens. It completely disrupts your life. Like you have hurricanes and things like that, like an ice age. Like you kind of know an ice
Yeah,
age is
yeah,
coming.
yeah. And with the hurricane, you usually have a couple of warning to get out.
Board up, get
Uh,
out. Yeah,
Tornado. I was watching some tornado videos yesterday. It was like the top 10. It was like the best filmed tornadoes, and these storm chasers got close, close.
would you ever
And
do that?
I would do research on it, but I wouldn't just go like a rogue group. I wouldn't be like,
Yeah,
hey, you and I go. If I went, it would be with somebody legit, qualified. They know how to handle panic, and
yeah,
they're not going to put us in a super, super dangerous situation.
yeah.
Because it would be
I
cool. And if you got some footage, that would be amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, I see. My dad is like, he's like a natural disaster chaser.
Yeah.
So every time there was a hurricane coming to the shore, that like up towards North Carolina, he'd always go out there.
Right.
And we had like some flooding, and so he would always chase floods and stuff like that. But I would love to chase a tornado. And you know me, I'm not a very like risky guy.
Right.
But that's one of the things on my list. I have like 6 or 8 weird things on my list.
I would like to do that.
Always wanted to do. Chasing a tornado is definitely up there. Hurricane, I don't really care as much about hurricanes.
Well, I think, in my opinion, the hurricane, anything to do with water is more scary because you can't see what 80% of 90% of what's in the water. You can't see.
Yeah.
And just imagine if I watched these videos yesterday. You're in a boat, and then there's a big storm, and all these waves crashing over your boat. You're lost at sea. At least with a tornado, I mean, you're not just probably going to just walk into a tornado. I mean, you might be in like devastation or rubble or get hit by something if you're too close. But for the most part, you can avoid a tornado. But if you're out at sea, chances you're screwed for the most part.
There's no cover. Yeah, even with a tornado, you can go underground.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have a good shot to outlast it. But yeah, not at sea in a hurricane.
No, and then a volcano, I mean, you pretty much, if you see a volcano erupting, you can pretty much get out for the most part, you know.
Have you ever watched any videos on them? Volcanoes?
Which one? Not volcanoes, I haven't.
There's a really interesting one, and it's these people are on a boat, and they're watching this volcano, and it's kind of just like smoking and whatever, and then all of a sudden it just goes like straight up, but they're so far away from it that you can't hear it when it happens, so it goes straight up and you kind of see everything moving. And then, can you hear me? Am I breaking up?
I can hear you.
Okay. So what happens is it takes so long for those sound waves to get there that by the time it gets there, it's this, so it's like, and then it like sits there and you wait, and then it goes boom, and like everything shakes.
Really?
The camera's like shaking. It's such a cool video.
I'll have to watch that then.
So interesting.
What did you type in to get it? Just a volcano eruption or something?
Yeah, something like that. I forget what it is. I'll see if I can find it too, but that one is one of the most interesting ones.
But yeah, and what made me actually think about this is that last week, one day I really didn't have much to do, so I just went through and I watched all the disaster scenes from whatever disaster movies were on, Netflix and Hulu.
Nice. What was the best one?
I can tell you the worst one right off. The worst one was that was on there was 2012.
Oh, that one's horrible.
It's terrible.
That was such a gimmicky movie.
It was terrible. The one that still holds up pretty well. I mean, not completely, but for the most part, Twister.
That is my favorite. That is my absolute favorite one.
I mean, there's a few little things like when the cows are going through the air, it looks, dated now. But as far as the tornadoes go, still holds up. Not bad.
Do you know what the sound was that they use for the Twister, for the tornado?
I can't remember.
It's like a herd of camels running.
Okay.
Oh, let me see. Do you want me to try to play that video for you?
Yeah, if you can find it there.